Alrighty, beautiful people. We are back on the Virtus Performance podcast. Tyler, welcome.
Splendid to be here. Long-time listener, first-time co-host of the Virtus podcast.
Which we love. I've got a little bit of intro music for you. Thoughts?
It's clean. It's cold.
Love it. More,
But I call high-quality H2O.
more Adam Sandler. We need more
More Adam Sandler and more high-quality H2O. That's what we're here for. But we are back in the podcast chairs. We're starting to upgrade our setup a little bit, so we got some fancy new new buttons to press, and we've got the solo camera at the moment. We're going to eventually add a couple of cameras, but we didn't want to let perfect get in the way of good. So we're here. We're ready to do a quick, a bit of a recap over the last couple of years of Virtus, what we've been doing, what has transpired since we last did the podcast, and to give you guys a bit of an insight into what the plan is for season 3 of the podcast. So, season 1 was about 110 episodes long. Season 2 was 10. There's been a couple of odd episodes since then. But Tyler, tell the people what we can expect over the next couple of months, full of the Virtus podcast season 3.
Essentially, we just want to add value to the Virtus community, so we're going to get as many members of our community that may have a story to tell and that may provide value to the wider community on the podcast as possible. If there's anyone in the community that you'd love to hear from or reckon might have a story to tell, let us know and we'll get them on. Which
we love. So, super excited to do that. And a big part of the reason the Virtus podcast existed in the first place was just to hear the extraordinary stories of what most people would consider ordinary people. Like we don't need to get Elon Musk or Nathan Buckley or any of those big dogs on yet. Maybe as we go, because they're just humans like the rest of us. But I find it fascinating the quality of experience that just everyday person has, and I think it allows us to actually get some insight into day-to-day problems that don't make the news or don't seemingly change the world, but they make the world a better place. And I guess that's what we're here for.
That's it, yeah. Every week I'm having a conversation with someone different on the gym floor and they tell me something and it's like, shit, everyone needs to hear that. So this is what the podcast is for.
100%. So Tyler, it's been, let's do a quick little recap of you at Virtus. Tell us about your journey that got you into this seat with me right now.
I won't deep dive too much because that'll be a story for a deeper interview on its own episode.
We'll do a full podcast in a couple of weeks.
Essentially, as first bout of COVID was finishing up, so late 2020, I did the internship. Loved it so much, and I just thought, shit, I need to get a little bit more out of this. So just always hungry for a bit of growth. Finished my Bachelor of Exercise and Sport Science in Ballarat and was currently working there as well. And I felt like I just leveled up as much as possible in Ballarat, and it was time to step into a new environment and chase some more growth. Mitch Rowe, credit to him, he planted the seed in my head to go after him and politely ask for a job. I saw a gap in the market at Virtus. Essentially, they needed someone to reach out and facilitate with local sporting clubs, schools, and businesses. So I said to Locke, hey, here's your gap, I can fill it. And we started April 16th, 2021, started with real fire lit under me, and then COVID bout 2 happened, and that sort of just took all the air out of the tires.
I think it was bout 7, but yeah.
Bout 7.
There was a few bouts.
So all the air was out of the tires, and not a lot really got accomplished in 2021. Towards the mid to back end of 2021, we were able to do some outdoor sessions, so I sort of facilitated that. Lockie handed me the keys and gave me the reins while he was having child number 2 and sorting out a whole heap of other stuff. I think he had a surgery as well.
Yep, some renovations, all the good stuff.
So that was a good chance for me to connect with the Virtus family and get to know them on a deeper level. And yeah, sort of ever since then, I've really felt like a part of the furniture. And
would you say you fit like a glove?
Go on then.
Like a glove?
Sorry, I'll stop doing that. No, I won't. I will not stop doing that ever.
Just tell us if it's getting too old.
We need some feedback. I'll probably take half of it on board.
And then where are we? We had some renovations, new recovery space. So Normatex downstairs, spa, ice bath to come, sauna upstairs.
It's all happening.
New office.
Safe to say, I definitely don't want to spend this 20 minutes isn't an opportunity to talk about all the shit that we went through with COVID and stuff, but I think it's been an important, really important kind of end of and beginning of new chapter. It's almost like in a way, and I certainly feel it's almost like a rebirth of Virtus now that we've gone through that 2 years of COVID. The gym was closed over a 2 year period. The gym was closed for more than a year, so it was a bit of a hectic time, both mentally, physically, socially for everyone who was cooped up at home in Melbourne. So cheers to everyone that got through it. It's nice to be back out in the sunshine and to see all the all the good stuff happening again. Local sport and just community building, which we all miss so much. But that period of time allowed us to get really clear on what we wanted and what our values were and where we were headed and what we were actually trying to achieve. We spent time during the lockdowns building like an online university with courses and things like that. And we were going to, thinking about taking a deep dive into the online coaching space and a few things like that when we did open up for certain periods of time, it really emphasized what was so special and what was so important to us about the Virtus family. And what we kind of came back to were two words. It was people and place. We love spending time with people we love in places we love to be. And for us, we want this place, 1/2 Talker Terrace, Virtus Performance, to be that place for a lot of people. So my decision-making was all around doubling down on that. It was, finding and building a team of professionals who could give the most value possible to the Virtus family. And I think we've done that really well. And it was doing it in a space where, we could make the decision. So fortunately, we were able to purchase the space at the factory. We were able to do a bunch of renovations that built, effectively purpose-built it the way we wanted. Now we've got, this nice office upstairs. I've got my books on the wall. We got, Greg's office is next door for sports physio. We've got Claire, our nutritionist, upstairs. We've got a myotherapy space downstairs. We've got a movement prep area and a recovery space out the back. All which are just brilliant little add-ons to, a gym space that I think is, one of the best facilities around. We're not a, equipment machine after machine kind of gym. We're a space and movement and high quality stuff gym, and I think that's the path we're going to go down.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a one-stop shop, and like now when I'm taking people on first tours of the gym, like they're just blown away at the value that we have to offer. Like it's an unreal selling point. Yeah, and it's certainly, to look back, you definitely don't need any of those, don't need all the cool shit to do what we've done. We started this place in a shed and built it into an empty factory with a few kettlebells and dumbbells and stuff. But now we've added the cool shit on top of a culture that, hunts progress and quality and excellence. And yeah, I couldn't be more excited for the next chapter, the rebirth. I'm calling it the rebirth now. Let's go with that. The rebirth and to finally start to look forward after a couple of years of looking back. So, mate, welcome to the podcast. It's nice to have someone. First of all, someone that is super keen to grow and learn and expand his capacities. It's been a bit refreshing for me and for us to have you come on board and just want to be better, want to push content, want to connect with new people, want to connect with our members. So, and the people out there, before you interrupt, because we need you to interrupt to emphasize this point, people are sick of hearing my voice. I'm sick of hearing my voice. I'm sick of hearing your voice.
Lots has changed for me over the last couple of years, so it's nice to be able to sit here, be riding this podcast train with you and to look forward and to partly not have to do all the episodes, but also to be able to lean back a little bit and watch it grow, external to me having to talk rubbish all the time.
Thank you very much for the kind words. Yeah, that's sort of one of my values, growth. Like, I think if you're not getting better or not trying to get better, like what the fuck are you doing? Honestly, there's going to be days where you're not going to get better, but if you zoom out and the overall trend's going upwards, then generally you're doing good things.
Yeah. Would you say you'd use certain parts of your brain for that?
Here we go.
The medulla oblongata.
Mama
The medulla oblongata.
Oh boy.
There's a finite amount of times I'm going to be able to do this.
What's the medulla oblongata?
It's the thing that makes the alligators angry. You're absolutely welcome. It's good for me.
Good from you. So yeah, I believe, growth comes from being outside of your comfort zone. Doing this podcast is pretty well outside my comfort zone. I've never talked. It's a skill to talk for a prolonged period of
Great
time.
use of prolonged.
So, yeah.
It is. It takes some practice. So bear with us, and bear with us on the production front. Bear with us on the production front because, for a long time I went, intentionally low tech with the podcast. I literally had a USB mic that sat between me and someone else, and it was just all about the conversation. So now we want to get the videos out. We want to be able to share the content in different ways to different audiences. And to do that, there's going to be a few teething issues. So, if you hate the single camera, just deal with it. We're going to get double camera and get that rolling very, very soon. If you're listening to it audio, we apologise if there's any visual things we bring up, but you can always jump on Spotify, YouTube, and watch it when we get them up there. But I guess one of the things we wanted to talk about today was kind of what's changed in terms of how Virtus runs, what we've added, what we do differently, the different programs that we've run, because whether the last time we did the podcast properly. With regular interviews and regular episodes, I think it was 2018. 2019, there were a few episodes. 2020, Coop and I did like a podcast, did a lockdown series of things that we thought were important. But ultimately, it's been 4 years, which is not a small period of time. I'm a dad now.
What's happened?
I'm 30. The world is a different place to what it was 4 years ago, and Virtus is a very different place. So
I'm a different man.
I do not want to know what you were doing 4 years ago.
You don't want to know 2018 Tyler.
2018 Tyler. 2022 Tyler is much more progressive. The growth is there.
Yeah,
that value's been lent on the last few years.
We're just getting started.
So to give everyone an insight, everyone who's listening, I assume you've all been at Virtus or you're connected with Virtus in one way, shape or another. But to give you an insight into what's changed at Virtus, late 2019, early 2020, we introduced the VGT VAD model. So VGT is our group training. It's a big part of what we do in terms of community and in terms of bringing high quality strength and conditioning to the general population, to everyone. And Virtus Athletic Development is strength and conditioning for the athlete or the individual who wants or needs a program specifically designed for their goals. So we split, it was a bit of the Wild West up until that point in terms of our coaching. We had 1,000 different programs running and 400 different membership options. We simplified it to the two, which I think has been brilliant to give people two clear pathways in terms of what they're doing at Virtus. Obviously, COVID hit and that impacted our ability to get that rolling and get that running, but did a bunch of home programs and online stuff during that. But when we reopened, we lent into those true programs, and we've seen them grow over the last couple of years. Towards the end of 2021, I apologize for my incapacity to tell you timelines over the last couple of years.
It's a blur.
It's just a big whole lot of mush. So when we reopened at the end of last year, which was 2021, our focus was bringing consistency back to everyone's training and bringing accessibility back to the gym. So we changed our VGT time slots from three a day to 10 a day. We opened up some shifts a little bit more, and we basically went, how can we make this a space where people, want to be and people can spend more time? And the renovations are a big part of that. The way the gym's set up is a big part of that. Having things like food and drinks and the recovery gear and the different spaces. Like I'm super excited to do different things up here, like book club and all of those little things that help us foster our values of education and performance and community. And now we've been able to integrate our coaching back into our sports physio, nutrition and myotherapy as well, which allows us to, effectively be like a one-stop shop for athletes, for anyone who's training and wants a space where they can come and express themselves, come and feel comfortable and come and get, the best quality service that I believe is available.
Yeah, it's been awesome to have an athlete come to me with a query or something wrong that's sort of beyond my capacities, and then I can just forward them onto Claire, forward them up to Fizz, send them to see Ree, like whatever.
Yeah,
So.
it's phenomenal, and now our team's expanded and contracted a few times over the years, but we're at this point now where I think we're pretty set on how many coaches we need. 4 or 5 is probably about the number. So Jazz is relatively fresh. You guys will meet her. We'll get her on the podcast.
She'll love that.
We'll have to tie her to the chair, I reckon. But she's brilliant. She's incredibly intelligent and just lovely to be around. She gave me COVID when I first met her, and I still kept her around. So that says a little bit, I think. Mitch, he's part of the furniture now, but he's still doing a brilliant job. Obviously, we spoke about Tyler. I'm coaching a little bit. Mum, when she's not babysitting my kids, she's she's still around. So all of those guys that come into the gym because she's so wonderful, keep coming because she'll be here. And Greg's part of the furniture. Doing his physio and making people better and
He's the man.
And doing somersaults and all the good stuff, which we love. We'll get him on soon. So yeah, I guess like Tyler said before, the plan for the podcast is to just add value, is to have conversations with people who are going through or gone through things that we all go through. It's to give you guys little tidbits of information that will help you live a life that is aligned with the person you want to be and the values that you have. And we want to, we'll jump on a few times and just do kind of like let's just shoot the shit, talk about whatever we feel as though is important. Middle of winter now, things are cold. Everyone kind of feels that desire to hibernate.
Seasonal affective disorder.
Yeah, exactly. Good from you. That's a medulla oblongata button, I reckon. And I guess we want to help identify the problems that most people are dealing with, and work on solutions to improve that. What everyone's been through the last couple of years is certainly different, and it's been a massive challenge in many different ways. And we're kind of past all of the hard stuff, but I feel as though collectively everyone's still struggling a fair bit because we've just had stressor after stressor after stressor after stressor for so long.
Everyone's playing catch up.
Yeah, everyone's playing catch up, and I think everyone's mentally fried a little bit. So we'll come to you with tips and ideas and things that you can do to start to identify what those stresses are, and then what are the things, 5 or 6 things you can do every day to start to mitigate some of those things. And rather than going, oh fuck, I need a holiday, and just spending one of your 52 weeks of the year lying on a beach getting pissed, we want to find the little things that you can do day to day. That in a nutshell is what Virtus is built on. The little things you guys can do day to day to improve your health, improve your performance, and improve your capacities. That's what we're here for. So that'll be a big part of the podcast going forward, is how we can help you guys grow, like Tyler wants us all to, and how we can do it in a way that we do it together and we do it connected, and we can just keep doing good things with good people, because ultimately that's why we're here.
Good from you.
Fuck, thanks, man. I love talking. So nice to talk and not have Lucy ask why 1,000 times why I said it. Or
let's get Lucy on.
We will get Lucy on. Actually, that would be pretty funny. We'll get Lucy on. We'll chuck a headset on her and see what she thinks. But I look forward to sharing some of our challenges that we're going through at the gym and we're going through at home and things like that, because I think there's nothing more impactful from a problem overcoming perspective than seeing what other people are doing and seeing how they're dealing with stuff. So yeah, that's us, I reckon, for the quick little recap. We'll see you next week.
0.
Yeah, we'll see you next week for episode 1. We're super excited. Any more?
Nah, I'm pumped.
Beautiful.
I'm getting into it.
Outro music, what do you reckon?
Good song.
Sunshine.